Hi guys, welcome to EDP Masters. Let's begin with the anthem together.
I believe I can. I believe I am. I believe I can. Nothing couldn't fall away. Tonight is open. Oh, my awesome hands are so open. It's a love in my head. I'm love in my head. You're love in my head. It's a love in my head. I'm love in my head. You're love in my head. It's a long human, our heart human, in the heart human, in the deep. It's a long human, our heart human, in the heart human, in the deep. I believe I can. I believe I am. I believe I can. It's going to be less for now to going on. Deep down, I will just fine. I let the going on you Saganagam, I could come I could be there, and you have light in them.
Thank you. Stay tuned. Masters with me and my lovely Kingdomites and EDPians. Welcome to the 49th episode of EDP Masters. So we are marching towards the Golden Jubilee of EDP Masters next Wednesday. Today we have again a very special guest recommended by our own student Purnima, and I think this platform gives us a beautiful chance to peek into the minds of some amazing entrepreneurs and different kind of perspective that they bring. So without wasting a single moment of this EDP Masters, let me welcome to all of you. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together and welcome Dr. Shama Bhat of Bhat Biotech, Bangalore. So welcome to EDP Masters, Dr.
Yeah,
Bhat. It's wonderful to see you
thank
there.
you.
Thank you so much. And first of all, thank you very much for saying yes to the invitation. Of course, thanks to Purnima also to get you on the show here. And it's been going to be very high, insightful time. And since this want to start the whole conversation saying you, I have 49. This is the 49th interview and Q&A which we'll be having. And you're the
Mhm.
first person in 49 people who have not asked me anything about what will be interview about, what will you ask, what will be the question. Nothing was there. So I can just understand the confidence and the experience that you carry with yourself of 3 decades being in this field. So thank you for coming in again. Welcome to EDP Masters with
Thank you, and it's a pleasure for me to be, with you and with your students. That to share my experiences or whatever knowledge I have. That I'll be very happy to share with you and your students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bhatt. So let's begin with this. You are a science graduate. You are a typical academician who has been well studied, well learned in India, abroad, across the world, and mostly academicians get into R&D and stay into R&D only. Very
Mhm.
few of them have the courage to get into an entrepreneurship. So
Yeah.
how this first, no, I don't know anything about whether you have a background of families who are into business, family businesses or what. I have no idea, but it doesn't look like. So it looks like he's a first time entrepreneur. So how does it? What does it take for an academician who is fully study oriented, research oriented, and then to take a step into enterprise and that to be in a field like pharma? So what does it take for a non-business person to become a business person? It's the first question I want to shoot at you right now and listen to you.
Yeah, let me tell you that I'm coming from a farmer's family, very backward district, near Mangalore. And after my graduation from my Institute of Science, I went to USA, and I was there for almost 17 years. Out of which 13 plus years I was at University of Pennsylvania, where I was a professor of neurology, and I was doing research on HIV. That's now everybody knows about it. HIV and AIDS, and then multiple sclerosis. That is another neurodegenerative disease.
Hmm.
Uh, Quite well, but we wanted to come back to India, do something, but we decided not to get into just academics or getting into teaching and other things where you can do only so much. That I know I'm not saying that teachers are not good and they are not doing anything, but they are doing their good. But what I wanted to do is different than what others are doing. That's what I'm trying to tell. That I
Hmm.
wanted to do something different.
Right.
So the idea of getting into entrepreneurship, now people call startup. At that time, we call it entrepreneurship. Okay,
Right.
that's a different, terminology. That's all, but they're all the same.
Same. Correct.
Um, Me and my wife, we decided to, come back to India, and we decided to set up an industry because diagnostic at that time was very infant. I would say that infant, like very childish. That
Hmm.
all they are doing is just mixing a couple of reagents and doing the test for sugar or triglyceride or something like that. And then we decided we want to do something different, which is the state of the art technology at that time. That like the rapid test, what you are talking about today. That for example, pregnancy test. Everybody knows now. How simple it is. You take a cassette or dipstick and then add 1 or 2 drops of urine, and within 2 minutes you'll be able to see whether that lady is pregnant or not. Before that, you have to go to the doctor. They have to do so many tests, and then only you'll be able to know whether she is pregnant or not. But today everything is different. You sit at your home and just add 2 drops of urine. You will know whether you are pregnant or not. Similar things, just coming up in the USA. So I thought, why not we, bring this technology to India and start a small industry. Um, we the equity and other things are not known at that time that much. That at that time you have to rely on your own sources. And if at all possible, the banks will not lend you money, that without security and other things. But whatever small amount of money I had, and I requested a couple of my friends whether they are interested in joining hands with me, and they gladly agreed. One of is Krishna Bhat, the other one is Ramesh Bhat. They are not related, but they are very good friend of mine. And we were thinking, what we should do if we come to India, not just do similar electronics or other things what others are doing. So we thought, since I'm working on HIV and biotechnology based research, I had basic knowledge of developing some of these products, and also got some help from one of the consultants with whom I was associated, and then and also another thing for me to come to India and set up a diagnostic industry is I came to India in 1993 for a AIDS conference. I presented a paper in Delhi, and at that time, we saw that in India there was not a single test or a kit available for testing HIV. Since I was working on HIV, then I thought, okay, this is the best opportunity for me to get into diagnostic kit manufacturing in India. With the rapid test, we'll be able to do it, and we are the pioneers in that field to do 25 years ago. We are celebrating 25 years here. We started in 1994, and going strong. Say that we are employing more than 400 people, and that way that I'm doing two kind of services. One of them is of course we are giving simple and faster rapid tests to the country, and another thing is employing several people. That 400 plus people. For example, Purnima, that Purnima, who her father, was with us for a long time. Now he's a farmer. His her father, I'm sorry, her mother still worked for us, on a contract basis. So that way, I feel very good that I'm able to contribute to the country with respect to economy, with respect to providing state of the art technologies, and also providing employment. That's another area where I see that I'm contributing to this country.
Superb. I think it's a fabulous journey of 26 years. So congratulations for a complete silver jubilee for you with ongoing performance. So I have this question here for you. So when you start, so when you began, you may not be having anybody. You started on from zero, from scratch.
Right.
When you have 10 employees with you, or let's say 10 is also a very good number in the beginning. When you have 10 employees,
Yeah.
and then you have 50 employees, then you have 100 employees, then 200, then you have 400.
Yeah.
I think the thought process of the employer or the entrepreneur, does it changes from 0 to 10, 10 to 50, 50 to 100, and the number goes. So if it changes, so what are the basic changes which somebody should consider when you expand like that? Okay, to deal with 3 people in the house itself is very difficult. Okay, and then you have 400 people from different backgrounds and
Yeah.
different kind of cultures. So when you do this lab, if I'm giving this lab to you 0 to 10, 10 to 50, 50 to 100, so what is the thought process that changes for a business leader or an entrepreneur guy on the top? What should he or she take care of it if my students can know about it?
Yeah, first and foremost important thing is your finances. If you don't have a good finances, and if you start a company and this one, pretty soon you can see that more than 70% of the businesses or entrepreneurship or startups, they fail. That's because mainly because they don't have the enough funding. Initially, they have some, thought process and technology. They think that it's good, and finally, if they don't have good backup with a financial backup, they will not be able to, proceed further. So, what my first and foremost thing, what you have to do is
Yes, yeah.
make sure that your finances are right. You cannot grow too fast. If you do that, you know that so many companies, even the big companies, when they got into several things, they failed. Like Ambani, for example, you take the Ambanis or Malyas, or take so many examples. What's happening is, unless you take care of the finances first and then grow. See, growth is the word itself is a growth. What you are trying to extract from me.
Mhm.
What you want to do is, you have to see whether you have the good background of getting that finances. Say for example, if you have 3 people, you have to pay only, say, per month, you have to pay only 20,000 or 30,000. If you have 200 people, then suddenly you will become big, and that should not become a burden to you. What you have to do is, you have to grow slowly, so that you will have the finances to you know pay these people. Otherwise, you will be bringing somebody, and if you halfway through, you just leave them. It would be bad for them, bad for you also. So what you have to do is, you have to grow. When you grow, what you have to do is, you have to make sure that your finances are good. How your finances will be good? What you have to do is, you have to make sure that you have the revenues coming, and the revenues will have enough margin, so that you will be able to do it. So that is the first and foremost thing. When you are growing from 3 people to 300 people, what you have to do is, you have to see that you have enough finances. The finances will come through your revenues. Make sure that revenues will have enough margin. Then only you will be able to do it.
Mhm.
Hope
I
I
think
am making it very clear.
I think you absolutely made a point that so the basic things so Dr. But what happens is, as we would discuss few things and you answer whatever I can infer out of this discussion, I will make a small no capsule for
Mhm.
boys and girls to understanding the language what they
Right.
said. Yes. So very
Mhm.
long things which I think I have picked up from Dr. Bhat sharing was been from the time one, if you are ready as an whichever, as an entrepreneur, whatever you are ready with. When he came from US for
Yeah.
that conference, he did not
Mhm.
come here to start a business, but when he saw that there is a market available or a
Yeah.
need in a market where he can create some kind of
That is
value.
all an opportunity. When you have to make sure that the opportunity, you should catch into that. That's what you have to do. It.
Basically, we are learning here from Mr. Dr. Bhatt is this: when you are prepared and when there is an opportunity, that meeting point is the most important point. So there are
Yeah.
always opportunities, but you need to be prepared. Is one more testimony of Dr. Bhatt saying how India became his base to again start what he has started in Bhatt Biotech. The first thing is, once you are ready and prepared, you'll be able to see opportunities. It's not that opportunities are not there. Only when you are prepared, guys, remember that only when you are prepared, you'll be able to see the opportunities. If you are not prepared, opportunities will be still there, but you cannot see it. The first lesson to learn from Dr. Bhatt's sharing is be ready, be prepared. Opportunities will keep coming and you can grab it. This is number one. Number two, to start, you definitely need different kind of funds, and of course, 30 years back, 26 years back precisely, this whole idea of equity and shareholdings and funding building was not a great thing. You have to put your own money, you have to sell your house, pull in the friends, and that is how it is works. And a lot of people came and helped. So basically, one idea and little amount of money with you, and you can begin from in 26 years from zero. You can reach to 400 plus people. There's a fabulous growth that is happening. And very important point who said what the doctor, but also shared was if you are growing organization, ensure that your growth has enough revenues which has enough margins, then only you'll be able to afford to pay good salaries to people and hold them, otherwise it's not going to happen. So my next question to Dr. Bhat you is this: should we take the people to grow the organization, or because organization is growing we should take people? So what should be the thought process for an entrepreneur? Because at times both works or may not work. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, what you have to do is both ways. It goes both ways. You cannot grow just like that, and you cannot, take the people and grow. What we have to do is we have to go both ways. What happens is when you have an atmosphere of, say, an industry where it, started doing something and then started growing, then what happens is you are able to hire good people and then grow. Okay. It is not the other way around. You cannot get 100 good people and say that okay, I want to grow. That is not what happens. Okay, you have an atmosphere where you will be able to bring in people, and they will be able to grow together with the company. That's what you have to do. Is you can either way it won't. The company will not grow without people, and the people will not grow without the company. So what
Right.
you have to do is they are interlinked and they have to do it. Whether it's a Bud Biotech or any other company. From whether it is 0 or 400 or 4,000 people. This is the way that will happen, and it is no other formula will work. That you can say that okay, I will get only the cream of the crop and put them into our industry and just give them, say that do whatever you want. You will not grow. Okay, you will end up within 6 months. You will end up that you will throw away all those people, and company will do nothing, and either it will close down or something will happen. But what you have to do is you have to do both ways. You have an develop an atmosphere wherein the people come, they will be able to grow. That's what we have been doing. I have somebody. They are not when they started here, they are not the top of the crop. They came here, they grew with us. Now they are one of the top production manager. For example, I will give you an example. A production manager, first employee, he's a BSc. Okay, just a BSc, and he came here. He's an ordinary student. Okay, his marks were not, that exemplary or something like that. He's just an ordinary person. He came here and spent a few years, and we are able to develop him so that he'll be able to do. Today, he is managing more than 400 people.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
almost not 400, 300 plus people he is managing, and he is developing so many products. Of course, with my help or with some help, required. But what I'm trying to say that you need not have a cream of the crop to, if they have the will to learn and the ability to learn, they will be able to do good work, same as the cream of the crop also. But I'm not saying that the cream of the crop are just crap, but they are also good, provided they have been given the good opportunity to grow
Right.
or develop something. When you are talking about industry, we are developing a product. Unless there is a product, it's of no use. If it is an institution, you do research and publish papers, file patents, all those things you do. But in the industry, we are not looking at that. That's only part of the. We are publishing papers, we are filing patents also. But what we are looking at, main our focus is to develop a products which you will be able to commercialize and get the revenue. That's what we want to do.
Thank you so much. So again, something very beautiful I have just learned from what you have shared right now. So I'll just nutshell it to my boys and girls. So very,
Mhm.
very important point again, Dr. Bhat has told all of us is this, that it's not all the time it is the top of the crop or the bottom of the crop. It's sometimes it's more the right, it's more of the attitude of the person. If there is willingness and person has right attitude, like we always share in the classrooms also, I strongly believe it is better to teach accountancy to a honest person than trying to teach honesty to an accountant. So when somebody is honest, sincere, skills, attitude is right, I think anybody from a small degree also can go on top of the run. Like he gave an example of his product manager with just a BSc degree could able to right now run and manage 300 people. It's phenomenal. It's a very important lesson to learn from your sharing, Dr. But now I have a very important, I feel is a very important thing I would want to take from you. And maybe you wouldn't have gone through a situation right now. See, there are two kind of situations which happens in the market for every entrepreneur. When the market is going down and down, you don't know what to do. No? It's very hostile. Almost nothing is working for you. So a lot of entrepreneurs don't know what to do because nothing is working. And then another scenario is like where it's the right opportunity. Means, for example, right now, because of the COVID-19 for last 7, 8 months, that whole world is panicking now. It's a great time for pharma companies. So now you also run a biotech, you run a pharma healthcare company. Now, for you, it's like so many opportunities are there, but so much market is open. So now, when things are nothing is working, a thought process is very different. What to do? Okay, now so much opportunities are there. A pharma company can do right now a lot in this scenario right now because of COVID. So again, entrepreneur, what all to do now? In this, how do you capture opportunity? Because now it's a for you, it's for something like you, it's the jackpot. Okay, I think right
Mhm.
now I can do because you have all the facilities, your R&D department, everything is set. You have a name for 26 years. Now, in the scenario when everything looks wow, oh my god, it's not a great thing for the world. I'm talking from a very entrepreneur from a subjective base. In the context of COVID, for pharma companies, it's a jackpot. Okay, now if somebody can come with a drug or something which can be now everything is becoming immune. Vegetable oil also become immunity oil. Coconut oil become immunity oil.
Yeah,
Anything you also immunity. Everybody's putting word immunity there. So
yeah.
now this so much of opportunity comes sometimes in the market. Now,
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur, how do you stay focused to your own core strength, or do you also get carried away? Oh, boss, a bit time now. Nice time is there. Let's make up the most of it. Let's launch this product also. This product also. This also can be done. So something like this. So how do you do in this scenario? I hope you understand my question here.
Yeah, yeah, I got it. I got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Two things. Like you said that if nothing works for you, everything is whatever you do is not at all working, and then what you do.
Correct.
One of the things you have to do is should not panic. Okay, that is first thing and foremost thing. Should not panic. Take a little bit of time and see what you can do. If that particular path is blocked, then you see that you try to see change your path and see whether you'll be able to get into something within your limitations. You will be able to do it.
Hmm.
So panicking and this thing, what will happen is you will ruin your health and somebody else's health and somebody, when the company everybody says that there are if you have more than 300 people in the company, I'm responsible for their welfare. So I cannot panic and I cannot suddenly become something different, so that I cannot put those 300 people into kind of, because they are relying on me. So I see that we have to, I don't know whether I pay them very the highest salary or not, but whatever I promise I should pay them so that they will be able to lead a good life. So if the things are not going good, what you have to do is don't panic, wait for a while, and then what you do is, if that path is blocked, try to change the path a little bit and see whether you'll be able to do it something different. Coming back to this kind of pandemic, Corona, yes, we are also into that. Of course, we are in the healthcare, and we have to do it. When everything is locked down, we are working 24 hours.
Correct.
Because nobody says that we are not warriors, but in the background we are the warriors, because you know that what happens is without our products, the warriors will not be able to do anything.
Correct.
What I'm trying to say, that if there is an opportunity, like this is a kind of disaster, can you convert this disaster into an opportunity? That's what you have to see there. Yes, what we did one day, one of our friends, those who are working in the government, they asked us, do you know whether somebody is making this VTM, that's viral transport media? We don't have that in our portfolio, but he asked whether somebody is making. Immediately, what I did is, I know that I can make it, and I know that I have the, formulations or other thing. It's open. So immediately I said, yes, we will be able to make it. Within 3 or 4 days, we developed a product, and we sold lakhs and lakhs of this one. In fact, this opportunity gave us, we never seen in 25 years this kind of, revenue growth, that so suddenly we see big growth. I really, that one, I'm not like, others are trying to cash in with whatever they want to do, but we want to do it in a good way, without too much of cashing in with the whatever you can. We don't do that way. See, we started with that one product. Today we have more than 17 COVID-related products. They are, yeah, VTM. They are lytic, solutions, media, RNA isolation, RT-PCR, LAMP assay. We have. The antibody test, antigen test, you name it, we have everything in COVID related. Within a matter of within 2 to 3 months, we are able to develop all these products because we have the knowledge, we have the ability, we have all the resources. So we could put them together very fast, so that we'll be able to develop lots of products. Some of them are already approved, some of them are in the process of approval. You know that the government processes are very, very slow, and sometimes it's not fair also, But I don't want to talk about those things in this media. But what I'm trying to say, that if there is an opportunity, grab it and then develop it and see whether that will be useful for the people. So what I'm trying to say, that the kind of disaster, that converted into opportunity into business into revenue into, your margin. So whenever you get an opportunity like this, don't let it go, you do it.
So it was a good lockdown period. You opened up a lot. Nice. Now here, when we run a pharma-based company or healthcare-based company, a lot of work happens with the government authorities. A lot of licensing work, a lot of permissions and all these things.
Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur, see, you have to deal with everything. So when you're only a product manager or only a sales manager or only a quality control, you only deal with one department. As an entrepreneur, you have to deal with all these things. That is privately. But working with the public sector, working with the government authorities for this, it's a different temperament altogether. So it's not easy. That's why somebody who's working. See what happens when you're working in a private firms. It is like tuck, and things move. And there it is like its own slow pace. Now the temperament change from dynamism to ekdam passivity. Do you do it, or do you wish? What will you suggest to my boys and girls? Should they do themselves, or should they find somebody who can do that work and you keep your pace? What will be the suggestion of this?
Yeah, you are absolutely right. But what they have to do is, of course, if you are in a regulated product development, what happens is you have to get the permission from the government, and that's a must. Unlike software, you just sit down with the computer, and tomorrow, if you have a good product, you can sell. You don't need anybody's permission or something like that. If you are in a regulated industry like pharma industry or diagnostics is part of pharma now, and they are regulated, and they are like drugs. So what you have to do is, yes, you have to do it. If you want to live in this, arena where the or the diagnostic industry, you have to do it. Otherwise, it's of no use. If you want to do it yourself or you want to do it through an agency, yes, that is left to you. But initially, like you said, you will not be able to go to and sit in the there's bureaucratic offices, and you will not be able to do it. Okay, I will give you one example. When we started, 25 years ago, there was no consultants, nobody, and diagnostic was a very, not at all structured. Nobody knew, who is even licensing the product. I had HIV kit, but nobody knew who is going to license the HIV kit. And I went from pillar to pillar and to find out from, Karnataka, from the Vidhan Saudha to, Delhi, New Delhi. But somebody said, oh, biotechnology department. Somebody said ICMR. Somebody said somebody. Then finally, after 6 months, I came to know that drug control is the one who is issuing the license. When we go to drug control, they said we do only drugs. We don't know anything about diagnostics. How can we issue a license? Somehow, finally, they said yes, they are issuing, even though they do not know much about diagnostics. They are issuing the license. And today there are so many people are there, who can liaison with the government, and you pay them certain amount, and then they will do the job because they have contacts with these agencies, whether it's a drug controller or any other, industry related, approval agencies. You have agencies almost everywhere. You'll be able to find today because of the internet. You'll be able to find those who are doing those kind of. 25 years ago, you can see that there was nothing like that. Then we have to personally go and find out who will be doing this kind of things. So to answer your question, yes, you have to do it, but it is advisable to do it whether it is you are a fresher or experienced person through an agency, because they have the contacts there, and without contacts in India, nothing will move. So you have to. It is better to go through them. My sincere advice is better to go through some agency who will be able to. They will charge some money, but that's inevitable. At least you'll be able to get something now. If you go yourself, you'll be spending money and time, and nothing will happen.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just to remind all of you guys, we are on EDP Master this time with Dr. Shama Bhat from Bhat Biotech. It's exactly the middle of the interview. So, Dr. Bhat, we will be taking just a couple of minutes short break for a small video promo. So be there. Just keep
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
For being
Okay.
there. Okay. Welcome back to EDP Masters. This time with Dr. Shama Bhat of Bhat Biotech Bangalore and my lovely Kingdomites and EDPs. Welcome back, Dr. Bhat.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a very, again, very important insight I want from you on this. So you have said that you came in back in India and it was nothing. You had to run from pillar to post to get. You don't even know who will give the permission to you or license to you. So you've been on one way. You've been pioneer in diagnostic kits manufacturing and other things. Now today we have a lot of people coming in, a lot of players in the market. So what would you say? Being a pioneer is a good thing, or should we wait for a few players to come in, see their growth, or see their, and then you start? So, what would be your advice on this or thoughts on this?
See, there are two aspects in this. If you are a pioneer, whoever enters into the field first, they will be known first. So you have the advantage.
Hmm.
But at the same time, you don't know the risk. See, being a pioneer involves lots of risk also. So you don't know the market. You don't know how the people will, receive this. So if you are going after, say 20, 30 people have already entered into the market, then you have to establish yourself. But you know that what kind of market you are getting into. So that is the advantage. But the disadvantage is that, when you get into the market later, in establishing yourself, it will be a very, very Herculean task unless you are a big multinational company. It will be very difficult for a small company to establish, after some time.
Hmm.
But if you have the knowledge, if you have some technology, it's better to do yourself first. You should be the first.
Okay. Since you have been the pioneer and being the first, then you have seen the risk firsthand. So, if I have to ask you, so how do you would want to define risk, and how do you take a risk?
See, everywhere what you have to do is you have to take calculated risk. Growth will not come without risk. So what you have to do is you have to see that if you want to invest, say for example, 1 crore rupees in your product development. If you don't have the money, 1 crore, if you want to borrow from a bank and if you start doing that, you will be getting into a disaster. What you have to do is you have to do a calculated risk. You should see what is your pocket. Say for example, I have 50 lakhs in my pocket. I will try to develop a product based on 50 lakhs. I may lose 50 lakhs, but I will not lose everything. I will not lose my kingdom. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that a calculated risk is always important. If you borrow too much and take risk, you are destined to your own ruining. So don't do that. Take a calculated risk. Yes, you should have some sources. Then only that is okay. Otherwise, I don't advise anybody to jump into something. Say,
Hmm.
oh, I'll be able to do this. I have good ideas. I will do that. I will borrow, 20 crores from somebody, and then do this. No, if you have some angel investors or somebody, good, you jump into that because your risk will be minimum. They will be investing the money, and if it's not, they think twice or 100 times whether this project will work or not, and then they will invest. But when they invest, you are not losing your you know uh, hard-earned money, but you losing that particular whatever they invest, you may be losing. Maybe you will be losing a little bit of yours also, but not a whole lot. You will be. They are investing because they know that this project will be good, so I will be able to do. In case that fails, they know that they are all. They know that if they invest in 10 different companies, 3, 4 of them will do very good. A few of them may be okay, and a few of them will fail also. With that intention only, they will be investing money, so that may be okay. But I don't advise anybody to invest all their hard-earned money and do something and take the risk. So you always have to take a calculated risk. Then only you will succeed.
Okay. I think that was a very nice advice to all of us. Thank you, Dr. Bhat.
Mhm.
Next thing I want to ask you is this. See, you're a first-time entrepreneur. You don't have even a family background, so I don't even I don't even assume that even in your other family people also must be business people or have. So, and I also have seen a lot of people who are family run businesses. So, all the brothers are there, their children come, then relatives come, all this come. Now you don't have anybody like I don't know. You may get more clarity. So I don't think you have anybody. So a younger brother or elder brother or child. This all these things. So when a family-run business, I have seen a lot of family-run businesses. A lot of people like you are first-time entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Now you don't have a single relative in your organization, and there are family businesses where only relatives are there. So
Mhm.
do you think it is advantage or disadvantage of so do you think it's advantage not having your relatives in the business, or you
Yeah.
think it's advantage to have all relatives in the business?
I think it's always there will be a disadvantage rather than advantage, because what happens is your ideas and your wavelength. It is very difficult to match with your own relatives.
Hmm.
If you are with a partner, tomorrow if you are not able to do it, you can just say that okay, nothing is working, and you uh, depart. Okay, but with your family, you'll not be able to do that. That will lead to a lot of conflict, lot of hard feelings, and so my honest this one is try to minimize. I have my own nephew who is with me, who is doing it. He is like my son only.
Hmm.
So he is taking care of now the business. He is taking care of, and he is doing a good job. But what normally what happens, even the siblings, that Ambanis are good examples. That after the father, both of them were there, and they could not. Their wavelengths are different, and each of them parted ways. And almost every day you hear the news about the family, quarrels. These things you hear that. I would suggest my honest opinion is that it's better to do your own as much as possible. But if you have a good brother or somebody who can match your wavelength, yes, that may be okay. But or your son or somebody. Uh, but generally, most of the places they get into trouble.
But one of the biggest factor for this Dr. Bhatt is somehow they feel the trust factor with relative is higher, and you don't have a single relative or maybe very few relatives, but you have 400 employees. So how do you develop this trust? Whether how do you develop trust in them, or how do they trust you? You will not leave them, or they will not cheat you. So how do you? Because in family-run businesses, what happens is the biggest reason for them is trust. They think a family member, घर का आदमी है तो nothing to worry about. So how do you, since you have 400 people plus and you do phenomenal work across the world now, so how do you build the trust? So how do you, as an individual leader, build the trust in them, and how do employees build the trust that my boss will take care of me? So how do you do that?
So what here when you talk about trust, it's both ways. What you treat them well. Yeah. I'm the head of the institution. I don't talk to each and everybody. I don't have any of this one. People, whenever they want, they come here to me, whether it's a complaint or compliments, whatever they want, they come to me, come to my office very freely. My office door is open all the time. Okay, they don't have to get an appointment from my secretary. I don't even have a secretary. Okay, what happens is the trust is both ways. When you treat them well, they will also treat. In between, when you have 300, 400 people, a few of them will cheat you, and a few of them will distrust you. That is common, but you have to go along with that, and you should not think that oh, one person has cheated me, so what can I do? That's it's common when you have a lot of people. That can happen, but trust becomes yeah, when you treat them well, they will treat you well. Okay, that is the first and foremost thing regarding trust. So That's what at Biotech we are doing. We have a lot of people right from the beginning. They are still staying with us.
Hmm.
So that shows that they trust us.
Hmm. So, what is the biggest challenge you face with people when you work with people? Biggest challenge which you have?
The challenges are frequent. People leaving. In the middle of something. We think that these people are there to stay for a long time, and you develop them. You make them grow. Suddenly if they leave, then that becomes a void, and that sometimes hurts you. That what I have seen
Hmm.
recently. One of them that happened. He was with us for more than 6 years, and one day he said, "Sir, today I'm resigning. I have some family problem. I don't want to
Hmm.
come here from tomorrow."
Hmm.
That kind of attitude, and if somebody says that, that hurts you.
Hmm.
What I don't mind. There's so many people came and so many people left, and that is okay with me. But
Hmm.
it should be everything should be in a proper way. They should come and give a notice of 1 month or 2 months and say that, sir, I'm getting another opportunity. I want to leave, or because of some family problems, I want to leave. But I want to hand over all my responsibility to somebody else. If they don't do that, then that becomes a big problem for you know a head of the institution cannot do everything. Then I cannot keep track of what he does each and every day. He'll be doing so many things. So if that is not properly transferred to another person, that becomes a big void, and that becomes a big problem. So
Hmm.
that happens in industry, but you know we want to have a second level each and every step, but smaller companies will not be able to do that.
Hmm.
It's a uh, it's advisable to do that, but we will not be able to do that. Yeah.
So don't you think here family fitness actually works because the relatives will not leave and go. No, they will be with you only. They will not go.
Yeah, yeah. Right, right. Mm.
It's a very different volume altogether. Okay.
Mm.
Now, when you work in a the kind of business you are into India also. From India also you do that. So then the market is when you have a product or a business where it's a worldwide presence is required. Worldwide market is there. So how do you create marketing, or how do you do your brand building? How do you do your selling across the country? Because culture are different, tax are different, everything is different. So how do you do? Let's see, if only a local player or a national player, no issue. Or if I can put on Amazon or online, then they take care of the entire thing. But in a business like yours, which has a worldwide reach and worldwide need, and you are in a city like Bangalore, how do you do marketing? Do you need to have an exclusive for exports, an exclusive for local, an exclusive for national? How should somebody plan for?
Yeah, again, what happens is all what you call growth. You cannot suddenly you cannot put everybody into one. This one says that, oh, I want to have export. I want to have institutional business. I want to have regular business. You cannot do that. That again, calculated risk. What I'm talking about. You will not be able to hire so many marketing people, 200, 300 people, and then within 6 months you will not be able to pay them. So what you have to do is we are now we are a 25-year-old company. We are having different departments. We have people for institutional business. We have for regular marketing. We have marketing managers at a higher level. We have export. We have export managers. We have like this. We have each department. We have different people. The different verticals. What we call in marketing. That domestic marketing is different. Institutional marketing is different. Export marketing is different. OEM marketing, what we call contract manufacturing, that is different. We will have different people to manage these different aspects. One of the biggest challenges are marketing. If you don't have a good marketing team, even if you have the best of the product, you will not be able to survive too long. So you need to develop a good marketing team so that they will be able to bring the business. They have to bring the business. Then only you will be able to employ more and more people and bring more and more products. You'll be able to do it only when you have a good marketing team. So marketing team is very, very important.
Right. So now again, next question here come is one out of what you share right now. So now, this one thing I have seen. I also do a lot of corporate training programs and a lot of corporate consultancy I do for people. I've seen this one thing is there's a sales marketing team which is on the field which creates revenues, and then there's a backup team of production or quality control. No? There's always this tussle between the two. Uh, because they put pressure, they put
Right, right,
pressure.
right. Yeah,
One thing is there, and
yeah.
that is one question of mine is how do we create this balance if you have some thoughts on this. Number two is, as an entrepreneur, should I create the structure of the organization or the policy of the organization or the rule game of the organization, keeping in mind the front line of marketing people, or should I keep production people? Because both are important, but for example, I do a lot of sales programs. I always say that you create the systems depending on sales requirement because they are on the grassroots level, they are there on the field, so you'll have to know. So how do you, what would you suggest, that should we create systems in the office or in the factory or in the organization keeping in mind the front line, that is the sales marketing team, or should we go by the production there, whatever they say? These are my two questions to you to end with this.
It's like the two wheels of a chariot or something like that. You cannot go one without the other. So
Right.
what you have to do is you have to make sure that you'll be able to, bring them together and say that they will agree. Always there will be, like you said, the marketing people will be looking at the products and newer products and without any complaints. You know that you will not be able to get anything without even the smallest complaints. The
Right.
moment you get a complaint, the marketing people will shout at the administration and production, saying that they did not produce good product. That's why we are not able to bring the sales. So what you have to do is you have to bring them together and you know discuss with them face to face and find out what exactly is the problem, how the problem can be solved. Now that's why what we do is we always have a product development manager or product manager will be able to go to the sites and find out what exactly is the problem. They will be able to solve the problem and report it back to the production through the management. So we have the system, but I don't think you will be able to develop a system like that and then go to the market. You'll not be able to. These are all growth related things. You
Hmm.
have initially you will have 10 production people and 2 or 3 marketing people, and then one day they will grow into 1,000 marketing people and 1,000 production people. With each and everyone you will not be able to sit down, but what you want to do is you have to see that there should be an harmony between the production and the marketing.
Hmm.
You make them sit together and discuss whatever their problems, so they will resolve. They will listen to that, and then they will see what is the solution. Many times these are all the hopes, and there's the problems whatever we see are not at all real. Say for example, in our case, pregnancy, or I know we are selling through Piramal, we get complaints. Just they say that that did not work. We don't get anything more than that.
Hmm.
So what we want to do is we want to find out what is the root cause. Why is it a manufacturing defect, or is it a real product performance defect?
Hmm. Hmm.
So we will be able to see by looking at the tested cassettes if they have. In this case, we don't even get that. So what we do is we first check whether our retention samples, quality control we keep and see whether they are working fine. If they are working fine, we will tell them, you go and talk to the end user, find out. Many times what happens is we ask them to add 2 drops. Sometimes they add 6 or 7 drops. They think that if you add 6 or 7 drops, they will get better result. Or they will add the reagents or the urine wherever they are supposed to add. They don't add there. They add into another place. There is the test window, what we call. So that procedural defect is most of the time that is a procedural defect. So what we have to do is the marketing team and this one, we have to tell them, okay, you go and talk to them, find out what exactly the problem. Then only you will be able to, solve the problem. If each other, if they are fighting each other, and the company will not be able to grow. So
Absolutely.
what they have to do is you have to make sure that you sit, ask them to sit together, discuss whatever is the problem, and then what you do is solve the whatever issues you solve that.
That's
And
correct.
development, that will come as you go along. You cannot ask a big company to develop a program for us and then do it. That it is
Correct.
not working. You can just spend money and do it. That should grow with your company. Then only that will be a viable thing.
Absolutely. And I think you have very, very beautiful point. I have just learned from what you shared right now, and I really want to talk to this to my boys and girls from the college. Very important point which you mentioned was this: attack the problem. Don't attack people. Problem with people is we attack people because it's a problem. What basically is trying to say is attack the problem,
Right.
address the problem, and work with people. What we do is we start attacking the people only from this department to that department. If we can stop attacking people and attack the problem, we can. I think we can clear the problem and solve it. And there is no heartburn. There are no ego issues. There are no clashes. That's a very important point in leadership. I want all of you kingdomites, mediators, to make a note of it that whenever, whether it is your personal life or professional life, if there is a problem, if there is an issue, please attack the problem. Don't attack the person. If you
Right.
make sure of it, you can solve the problem and keep the relationship with you. Thank you for giving this fabulous input, Dr. Bhatt. Now, I have a
Mhm.
last question to you on this. Since you're a first-time entrepreneur, you'll be very sentimental about Bhatt Biotech. So my question to you is very simple, straight, candid here. Should should an entrepreneur retire, or when does an entrepreneur retire?
That depends on their health and other things, or if the entrepreneur thinks that I have done enough with this particular product. Now I no longer enjoy doing more about this product. It's better to retire and give it to somebody else. Or if you keep on enjoying like me, it's after even 25 years, still I enjoy, every day I come here at 8 o'clock and I stay here until 6:30. I stay here and work, and I have no complaints, that, so I enjoy every day, this is my life. That's what I think, that I enjoy. So if I enjoy, I should continue as long as I can.
Correct.
If you are not enjoying, then it's better to give it to somebody else, so that you don't have to ruin the life of other 300 plus people in our case. Or if you give it to somebody else, probably they will do a better job. That. So my honest opinion is, if you enjoy working, or if you want to this one, continue. If not, it's better to give it to somebody else.
Absolutely. I think that's a very beautiful way of putting it. There is
Mhm.
no criteria called age for retirement. It's only enjoy. If you're enjoying, keep working. The day you
Right,
stop, it doesn't matter what
right,
your age is.
right.
It 33, 34, 43, 44, or
Mhm.
63 or 83. If you're enjoying the work, continue to work. If you're not enjoying, please retire and give it to somebody.
Yeah,
The company can continue to grow. It's a very beautiful
right.
put, Dr.
Mhm.
But I don't think anybody would have told me at this age or this age, because I know people are there, even if their health is not good, they still enjoy going. They somehow go to the place, work, and come back. It's all
Mhm.
about enjoy.
Mhm.
As long as you're enjoying what you're doing, never
Right.
give up. The day you think you're not enjoying anymore, whatever it may be what you're doing in life, you should stop doing it. And I think I absolutely agree with you. The day I will stop enjoying what I'm doing, I will no more do it. And I think I absolutely on this with you. So my last request to you is this, which I always ask to all of my guests on EDP. So remind
Mhm.
all of you, if you're on EDP Master, this time the Dr. Shama Bhat of Bhat Biotech Bangalore. Dr. Bhat, if I always believe, than reading thousand books, it's always better to read. Have one teacher, and you will know everything about life. Likewise, than reading thousand books on entrepreneurship. To be with an entrepreneur for a day itself is huge
Right.
amount of learning. If I request you with this proposal that if every month at your convenience, if one boy or girl can come and spend one day with you, personally with you, in your working hours and just observe you, learn from you, stay with you, will you be able to oblige us on this?
Sure, we should be able to do it. I may not be able to say that they will be able to with me all the time. But they can, look at our working of the company. Then they will be able to do it. That way they may be able to do it
That
because
that is
yeah,
right. The moment this lockdown gets completely opened up and boy
yeah,
starts coming back to
yeah,
college,
yeah.
definitely stay in touch with you through Purnima. And now anyway, I know you personally. We'll make
Mhm.
sure we create some kind of understanding where once in a month, every day,
Mhm.
one day in a month, somebody comes and spend time with your own company and understand about whatever they can learn from you, you can teach them. So thank you. It's more than 70 minutes. We are together right now. It was
It's a
wonderful to you and being so straight, candid from the heart, straight from the heart, being so straight. I think it was wonderful insights. We learned some amazing lessons. Thank you for coming on EDP Masters. You have given 60, 70 minutes of your life to us for my college and girls. I only can say thank you for this by giving double. So I owe you 1.5 hours or 2 hours from my side. I owe to you. Whenever at your convenience, if you feel I can be of any help,
yeah.
I'm I'm brilliant with people. I've been training people for last 20 years in this field. So anywhere, if you think I can add value to Bhat Biotech, I'll be more than happy. I owe you 2.5 hours from my side for your company to progress. Wherever you think you can fit in,
Sure.
please do take my help. I'll be able to gladly do it for you and your organization. Let the 70 minutes of these vibrations of me, my collective, all my students of Kingdom College and EDPNs, that the
Mm.
energy of 70 minutes help you and your company to grow even more bigger than what it has become. Let 300 become 3,000 employees in lesser time, and you do much more than what you did in 26 years. My best wishes and praise for you, Dr. Shama. But thank you
Thank
for
you. Yeah. Thank you
thank
very much. It's my pleasure, sharing my experiences with your students. That I enjoyed, talking with you. And once again, thank you very much.
pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much, Dr. Shama. But thank you for being your EDP Masters. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.